You guys in your 1 minute. I would like to make a substitute motion and nominate myself as chair. So can we, are we going to vote on it? No. Good. And it's good that you guys do that whole minute. Things are going to be the same. You guys are going to continue to traffic children, to exploit all of the people and raise taxes, take people's homes, all of the good stuff the government does that's here to help. And then you got all your socialist services that you have to provide to the people in the meantime. But yeah, it's just very interesting to see you guys sit up there and thank each other the way things are coming down the pike, though, so it's going to be an interesting year. Doesn't matter who is chair. Obviously, it's going to be Tara, because she's a terrorist, and she needs to continue on her reign of terror in San Diego. And, Monica is going to be vice chair. I'm actually surprised we didn't want to kind of go for one of those new things and have a black chairwoman. That would have been interesting. You know that case, Elizabeth. You sign off on it. Is it okay to go? Are you finished? Okay, great. Yes, so it's interesting to see what you guys do to families, and the fact that you think that being on a board that would be, helping facilitate more trafficking, that you're equipped to be able to do that. You are when you're trafficking children, and that's what you do. But when you profess that you're here to protect children, and you have time and time and time and time again heard the many stories of the families that you're ripping apart and the children that HHS is tormenting, and child and family well-being. It doesn't matter what you guys do to pretend to transform the agency. A little girl already died, Arabella McCormick. That should have been enough, but you guys don't care what you hear coming here, because the money that comes in, right, Elizabeth, the Title IV funding that you guys get to rip a family apart, it's not used to reunify, and ASPA isn't either. It's a fast track, it's a conveyor belt to put children through the system and put them through behavioral health services if the transition isn't going well. It doesn't matter how many children beg to go home and cry and plead to go home. Imagine that was your daughter, Tara. Imagine. You would do anything to make sure that she wasn't going through that, but yet you are complicit in doing that to families here in San Diego. And you know it, Elizabeth. You know the Robinson case.
Point of order,
you guys all talk about me.
Hello, please pause.
Point of order,
Go
Madam
ahead.
Chair.
Thank you.
You stated in the rules at the beginning of this meeting very clearly that public comment needs to be directed to us, not to staff. This is the third time one of our staff has been mentioned.
I can mention them.
You can mention staff, but you have to speak to us. Okay, continue.
Happen. Thank you, Paloma. It's interesting when you were, talking to me before you became a member of this. I love when you guys do public comment. You're full of shit. And it shows. You're a cartel member. It's so fantastic. Anyway, and whatever this new, I know, right? Yeah, exactly. I know. You're so nefarious, Jezebel. Satan is.
We'll now hear from the individuals that requested to speak by phone.
Oh my gosh, it's like a comedy show. It's so interesting that nobody cared when the little 5-year-old was raped in Linda Vista, or when, all of these other people were murdered by the people that came across. And we better make sure that ICE IDs themselves, right? But if you breach our border, it doesn't matter who you are. It's okay. It's interesting. I'm wondering, is not number 1 and 8 contradictory to each other? I mean, I know you want the funding. You guys are money whores, so it's like you'll do anything for money. But it's just interesting because it seems like, isn't that protecting our homeland, or no, it's not? And what happened about COVID and all of you better jab yourself, you know what I mean, to protect everybody. So interesting, the things that all of our civil rights have been usurped for quite some time. That's why I'm saying they should be happy to be treated like Americans, really. Because that's what they do in America. And so if you don't like it, then go back to your country. And hey, Paloma, see you next Tuesday. Wondering how many children need to be raped or murdered by an illegal alien before you guys give a shit. Who knows? There's probably a quota that you have to meet. Obviously more than it is. This is interesting. So, I mean, are these firefighters going to get paid more to do more work? It's like, we're going to take you off of what your fire responsibilities are. If there is a fire, just put the paintbrush down and go get it. Or are you just expecting them with the pay that they get to do extra work, right? I mean, right? Tara? I mean, you're not going to answer me? I don't... No, okay. At least you're paying attention. That's good. But yeah, this is interesting to make them go and do that because you guys racketeer with our money, so there's not enough left. I definitely see this coming down the pipe to the people. Right, and then you can just take their homes if they can't pay more money to make sure that you guys can continue to not provide stuff. That's what's so funny. I mean, what a job to be up there and like have millions and billions of dollars, right, Joel? Like putting $1 billion towards AI. Again, why are you guys here? Maybe AI can go ahead and do the maintenance. Who knows? Right? Is it capable of that? I don't know. We could get robots. China did it. We could see they're protecting their borders with robots. Maybe we can do that. We don't protect our border. That's right. Because, even the fire departments out in the areas where they were breaching the border on a regular basis and needing to take the fire and ambulances to, I forgot. Oh my gosh, I don't even remember right now. Barrett, whatever. Anyway, there's a bridge there, and I just forgot the name of it. But they were taking the resources there, and we actually spent more money to get new trucks that could go off-road. That was cool, just to help the illegals. It's good. But if anybody had a fire in their community, it was like, you're SOL. So interesting how you guys like to racket with money, and this is interesting because, is this going to be something where loopholes are going to be exploited, where people are going to be double dipping, people are going to be doing, workers' comp claims while getting maximum payouts without working? I mean, who knows? But you guys are supposed to safeguard these things, not gamble things away, because that's what happens with retirement. You guys put it on, so that you can make money from it, and the people that you're making money off of don't get to see any of that money. They just know that you're just like we're traded on the stock market. That's what our Social Security and our birth certificates are for, in case you guys aren't aware of that. But any way that you guys want to make more money, it's just interesting because even, CalPERS lost 71% of $468 million because it was invested into clean energy. We know that's all a sham, but whatever you guys can do to fill people's pockets, good job.
I'd like to invite forward allegedly Audra. You'll have 2 minutes to address the board.
I have some serious concerns about any of your closed session matters regarding your county council and anybody that you have that is here protecting the rackets that you guys are engaged in. There can be no transparency or accountability or sound mind decision making when county council and you guys are engaged in obstruction of justice, conspiracy, domestic terrorism, child trafficking, racketeering, collusion, fraud, which fraud vitiates. So anything you put fraud in means the entire thing is fraud, and you know that, David. Yet you sit here and you don't do what you should be doing, what you took an oath to do. So you're abrogating your oath. You guys are engaged in organized crime. You're protecting predators. This is treason. You sidestep the law. And it's interesting because, the things that take place and the things that your county council is engaged in, along with HHS, is very, very sad because it's like county council told the communications director to hide the video or move the camera when I was showing Malika and Zaya Robinson and showing the trauma that they have endured. And it's interesting that you guys can sit up here on your dais and not pay attention to anybody, all while children are actually being abused in the systems that you claim are protecting children. And if you've ever actually been in the presence of those children and experienced the trauma, and then think about your own children and what it would be like if that was them. I never thought I would live in a world where it would be so inverted, and it made no sense to me why things like this could take place until I understand that this is Satan's playground, and all of you are doing his bidding. And you will have to answer to our Creator and say why you allowed that to happen when you had every power to stop it, yet you don't. Virtue signaling, like you actually care about children, is a bit nefarious when you traffic children and you don't want people to know about the children that have died at the hands of an illegal immigrant or been raped. You don't even have to show their picture or say their name, but you could at least talk about it. Instead, you want to talk about all the political theater that you guys love to play around with. And so I'm here to continue to talk about Malika and Zion. I'm actually going to read a statement from Ricky Robinson, who is the grandfather and the voice for his granddaughters, Malika and Zaya. He is here because San Diego Child Welfare has taken his granddaughters from their blood family and refuses to give them back, despite documented bonds, despite completed case plans, despite the children crying to come home at every single visit. What he is witnessing is not child protection. It is the permanent removal of children from their family while the system closes ranks to protect itself. His family has been retaliated against for speaking out. Restraining orders were used to cut him off from his own granddaughters. An elderly dependent, his mother, was caught in the middle of this, and she died while the girls were kept away. They will never see their great-grandmother again. The harm cannot be undone. When families expose misconduct, they are punished. When children suffer, the system looks away. And when the truth is spoken here, you walk out. He is here to put San Diego on notice. People are watching. This case is public. The trauma is real. These children belong with their family, not the system, not to get collected money on. You may ignore us, but you cannot erase what you have done. The hammer is coming down on the trafficking of children and the money and the racketeering that is going on. And so you guys will be held accountable because San Diego is being looked at, and you will not get away with trafficking Malika and Zaya any further. So you need to course correct immediately. I'm going to speak on both of them because what you guys do is quite ridiculous. The way that you take care of things or pretend to take care of things, you kind of do a half-assed job and then, later costs the people more money to make sure that you can go and fix what wasn't really fixed or what was, partially done, like adding slurry seal and things like that. But the point is to get us out of our cars. So it's like you're not really going to be taking care of that kind of infrastructure to make sure that people can get around and travel because you're trying to impede our ability to do so, to pretend to save the planet, and it's all a bunch of propaganda. And when you guys sit here, even with the culvert repairs, I feel like you guys wait until the last minute to make a bunch of fixes, which cost the people a lot of money, but we've already seen how that affected people in the storm, which again was done because there was cloud seeding, so you guys don't want to believe in geoengineering and weather modification, but it's happening right above the skies above us. You think those are contrails, but those are chemtrails, and they're very toxic to the human being. But it doesn't really matter because it gives you guys your whole climate agenda that you want to push, and it's really disturbing because it's like you think that it would bother you that we're being sprayed with not only human DNA but heavy metals, nanothermite, graphene, things like that. And if you really cared about the planet, it would bother you that they cloud seed and, it causes storms here, right? And people lose their lives or their, possessions and different things. And then, the city sues them for trying to get things like that back. So, you guys need to start really thinking about course correcting because you constantly push all of this stuff because you get money for doing it. And it's detrimental to you guys as well. So, get your shit together. Who'd have thought we'd be talking about drugs, you guys? I mean, how crazy is that? It gets you guys to pay attention. I mean, obviously not to me, but everybody else that you guys are benefiting from. Because you can talk about children being abused and you guys don't even give a shit. So it's interesting. I feel like, you guys should brought some samples, but you probably already gave them to the board because they're going to pass this. You guys might sprinkle in a couple things here and there to pretend that you want regulations, but I don't know if we could also recommend making making the chambers a consumption lounge. I feel like that would make everything go a lot smoother, a lot easier to handle. I mean, because this is like a comedy show. But yes, so what else was I going to say? Who knows? Because you guys are going to pass it, and I just find it interesting, like what gets you guys to pay attention. Didn't know it would have been drugs, but it's good to know. And there's a lot of things that are interesting when you say it's legal and profitable. The black market was way more profitable, and it's going to go back there one day soon. So it's interesting that you guys spent $1 billion on AI, wondering where that money has gone and what you're actually really using it for. And so is this kind of one of the impacts that you guys are talking about? Because it's very dangerous how we're getting into this artificial intelligence realm, and the things that you guys use, even say for child welfare services and the programs that you use to enter data into in order to figure out what a plan would be, it's a little bit terrifying to think about, because you guys are into not reunifying families, exploiting anybody and everybody or anything that is living. You don't protect things. You guys virtue signal as though you do, but all the data that you guys have been collecting for eons has gone into program AI. And, if we're spending $1 billion on that, think about how much more money could go to different things in the community that would actually help people. I mean, we have people living on the streets that, have nowhere to go to the bathroom, that sit there and have to urinate and go to poo on the streets because there's, the bathrooms get closed at 10 p.m. And instead of really helping these people, we collect numbers and all of these things in order to get more funding. And it seems like that is your guys' agenda, which obviously it is, because anytime you guys aren't looking up, it means that it's very interesting, because you don't want to face the things that you guys are engaged in. And it's sad, because $1 billion is a lot of money, and you guys always do something and then go and try and attack something else and say it's them that is harming you, when how many jobs are you taking by using that $1 billion to bring that into the county? So, people just need to start to see what's really going on here. Looks like I won the lottery today. The only one. So I just really wonder, do you guys really believe that you're saving the planet by lowering the speeds? Do you actually believe that? And do you really wholeheartedly feel that that's the place? And taking away lanes and parking spots, is that something that you wholeheartedly are like, yes, that is going to save the planet? Or are you just, implementing the United Nations Agenda 21, 2030, 2050? Who knows, right? But it's interesting. So I'd like to know, so if we are all in line for somewhere, and there was, say, 4 different lanes to go into, and there was thousands of people, and all of a sudden they cut the lanes down to 1 and, said that it was going to help us efficiently get through that line faster. Do you think that would happen? Or do you think also, if we all got into a small closet, how you guys want to densely populate, that the air quality would be better if we were all in there, especially if Joe was farting from the food he was eating? Who knows? You guys actually believe that? So much so that you're willing to spend people's money on it and control their movements, control their behavior? Because, COVID didn't do what it should have, right? That's what we talk about. COVID didn't get people out of their cars as well as we were hoping, right? That doesn't show that. That was also a planned thing, right, Tara? What does Soros tell you? Is he telling you to just keep doing what you're doing because you're doing a good job? Is that, Tara, are you listening? Tara, terrorist. Hey, there you are. Right? Are you going to roll your eyes? I know, it's crazy when people expose the things you guys are engaged in, right? Right. Breathe in that sulfur air. It's so good. Hell is interesting to be in. Again, they're not here, but that's okay. Vehicle miles traveled. Tara, weren't you the one that said that that data was really not showing what you guys wanted it to? I mean, it's really about control. I'm wondering when you guys are going to get out of your cars and be the example for the county of, like, Tara, you need to bike here, right? Have it, Joel. Why don't you bike here, right? Or you could walk, who knows? Or we could start looking into teleportation. I feel like that's something that would be money well spent. I mean, we're spending $1 billion on AI. We could probably spend $2 billion on that. We could create roller coasters, moving sidewalks, some swings where it's like, you know, you could just kind of like swing around, you know, waterfront and then kind of be let off at the entrance. Tara? I mean, don't you think that would be fun? I feel like children would like to enjoy those amenities as well. What are some other things that we could do? We could do like parachuting, you know, have people go up in those chemtrail planes that are like releasing all of those toxins and just jump out into that like cloud of toxic air and get rid of people quicker. Because I mean, I know the carbon you guys want to reduce is us, right? We're carbon based as well. And I feel like you'd get a lot of money from that if you guys were going to just be more transparent and say we just really want to get rid of the human race or animals, because I mean people come and tell you guys about child trafficking and children being tormented and you guys just don't care, even horses or dogs or whatever, any kind of living thing in the county, and you don't seem to care about it. So I mean, I feel like you would care if you guys were making money off of it, which you already are, but I mean if it was more like transparent, like, you know, I mean, given those vaccines that you guys like to give, and then there's all of this autism, but that has nothing to do with it. You can actually get rid of autism, Tara. You should look into it because your daughter would be helped by that.
Audra, I just want to note, you did forget one really creative transportation idea. There's an urban legend that there was a proposal to have a gondola going from UCSD to downtown La Jolla.
How cool would that be?
From the 90s or the 80s. So you
can we
add
do
to your
that?
list.
Will you look at, can we do a staff report?
Thank you very much.
That would be great.